Good morning, kids. So we're gonna continue on what I was doing yesterday. Where we were working on a character chart for the Year of Miss Agnes. So yesterday we added 3 more characters to our character chart: Bertha, Miss Agnes, and Frederica. We're going to continue that today. And what I asked you to do is to add some details about Bertha, Miss Agnes, and Frederica. Now notice I haven't added anything yet. I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to see what I get from you guys, okay? But I'm going to put this down here where we're going to add to it, and today I'm doing it in purple. Okay, so I'm on chapter 3. This is how we came to get to school. First, everyone in the village lived at Dolby. That's upriver. They never had a school there. It flooded so much at Dolby that people's stuff just floated away some years. And then everyone said we better move somewhere else, not so low. So the whole village moved here where we are now. I wish I could remember that. Some of the houses at Dolby, they put on rafts and just floated them down there. I would have liked to have seen that. Then Grandpa said some other people moved here because this is a good place, lots of game. Pretty soon the government said we had enough kids to have a teacher. If we had a place to hold school, you had to have 6 kids or you couldn't have school. That was the law. So they made a school in Old Man Johnson's cabin because he was dead and no one lived in it anymore. And that was how we got our school. And I'm glad we did because I like school. So there are 2 ahas there for me. One is that you only need 6 kids to have a school. Okay, so Alaska is a little different than Washington. Also, they made a school out of someone's cabin. So they didn't build a whole new building like we have at Eastgate. They used an old building and like an old house for a school. That's an aha. When I got up in the morning, I looked out the window at the schoolhouse down by the bank. It was still dark, but I could see that there was already smoke coming out of the chimney. The last teacher could never get the fire going. She had to wait for one of the big boys, Roger or little Pete, to start it. Roger got funny one time and closed the damper when he started, so it just smoked real bad and we all had to leave the school. The teacher was so upset. She said no more school that day, and she went to her cabin and shut the door. That Roger is such a nuisance. So this is a memory moment of telling us about a past teacher and how she didn't like the school. And there they are, they're getting ready to go to the first day of school. I was so happy to be at school again. Mama was mad. She was slamming things around. She didn't see the use of school. It made her mad to have me gone all day when I could be helping her at home. And I am going to add that bit of information up by Mama. Okay, she does not like school, and she is mad that Fred is going to school. And I'll make that purple. So that's our new idea. Okay, and let me keep going down here. All right. Boko was helping me get ready. I couldn't find my clean socks, so she gave me hers, which were pretty clean, even though there was a hole in the toe. She never mended. I'm going to put Boko on there because Boko is someone who is living with Fred. So she seems like she might be important. I put them on when Mama wasn't looking, or she would have yelled and maybe kept me from school because I didn't have clean socks and Boko's had a hole in them. And she'd yell at Boko for not darning them. I was glad to be going to school, but I felt sorry for leaving Boko. She didn't go to school because she was deaf. She was born that way. She was 2 years older than me, 12, and I was the only one who understood what she wanted to say. I could just tell somehow Mama wasn't patient to understand her. It had snowed a little in the night, and I ran all the way to school with a good feeling that you get when it first snows and that good feeling from going to school. So there's some information that we've learned about Boko, and I'm going to see if I can have you guys go back and reread and put it right there, because that seems like it's pretty important. The schoolroom looked really different when I got there. The sun was just coming up and all the windows were just shining. She'd washed them, even the corners that used to be gunked up. All the kids were there before me because of those socks. Miss Agnes had put a map on the wall, like the one she showed me in Bertha in the book. A big, big map of the whole world. It covered the whole wall, so the bottom was by my toes and the top was way over my head. I couldn't keep my eyes off the map. It was so wonderful. Right away, I went to it and stood on a chair and showed those kids. This is Alaska, where we are now, and this is where teacher comes from. It's English. The teacher looked at me with a quick look, and I could see she was pleased I remembered. On this big map, my finger didn't cover the little English place. Miss Agnes had a record player that worked with batteries and lots of records on the back table and a whole bunch of big books we never saw before. She must have brought them with her. There were some pictures on the wall by the windows, some kind we never saw before. They weren't pictures of real things, but they were just lines and squares and shapes of bright, bright colors all put together, not looking like anything, but really happy somehow. So somehow Miss Agnes seems like she has turned this classroom around already, meaning it seems like a very pleasant place. She's put up artwork, she's cleaned the windows. Everything was way different from any time we'd come to school before. For another thing, the desks weren't all lined up. Miss Agnes had put them in a circle around the edges of the room, and there was the long table in the middle of the room, and her desk was just back in the corner, not where it used to be, in front of the blackboard. Desks in the circle looked more fun some way, and a teacher's desk in the corner looked more friendly like too. Everything was different, but a good different. Talk about contrast and contradiction. So kids, we really only learned about one new person, and we can add that there. So today's writing for Year of Miss Agnes is pretty easy. If you haven't filled in ideas about Bertha or Miss Agnes or Fred, you could still do that. I sent the lesson out late last night because I was having so much difficulty with technology yesterday. But I will see you tomorrow with another chapter. Okay, kids, have a good day. Bye.